Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rob Simcox. I'm Director of People here at Sherwood, and absolutely delighted to be at the wheel, should I say, this lunchtime for the team brief. So Team SFH team brief. Looking forward to describing with you a few points of update, and we've got some lovely guests today. We've got the wonderful Ali Pearson, our EDI lead, and we've got our wonderful Amy Gouldstone, our health and wellbeing lead, and both of those have got some really pertinent topics they want to share with us today. Ali's going to do a bit of a showcase around all things Staff Network, noting it was Staff Network Week last week, and Amy's got a variety of wellbeing initiatives that are taking place, and I'm really excited to be hearing about all things mental health, as it's Mental Health Week this week. So we've got a fun-packed agenda. As I mentioned from the onset, there's just a few bits I wanted to share with you all from a briefing point of view. So clearly don't want to unpack car parking through today's team brief, but I just wanted to make colleagues aware of some limited access to car park 10. So car park 10 is on the it's towards the back of the site at Kingsmill Hospital. We're doing some cladding inspections on Trust Building 3, so TB3. We've got a number of our corporate colleagues that use that space, and there'll be some disruptions on the 19th of May. So that's this Friday from 4 AM till 9 AM. So taking place across the majority of the morning. In addition to that, we have got some road works needed, essential road work, should I say, around the boundary of TB3. So there'll also may be some limited access to car parks 9 and 10 during that period of time. What I'd like to encourage individuals, colleagues, people to consider is using some of the alternate car parking space that we have available on site. It's a bit of a heads up, should I say, around the possibility of a bit of disruption on Friday morning. So travel time will clearly be essential. You might want to think about your normal journey into work on Friday. The other bit I wanted to just flag is the importance of our electronic staff records, so ESR. Colleagues will be familiar, hopefully, with using ESR to access your payslip. With us moving electronically to pay slips in the last few years. Just a bit of a plug, a personal plug, should I say, around the importance of updating personal details in ESR, such as addresses, contact details, next of kin, email addresses, and we'd always encourage individuals to use an nhs.net account when we communicate the staff survey to colleagues. This is the email address that we take, so as up to date as possible. And if for whatever reason you're perhaps struggling to access ESR, we've got a dedicated intranet page under the people section for you to get some further details. And we've got a couple of colleagues within the people function that are always happy to receive a phone call if you are experiencing any access details. So there were the two main points today I wanted to share. I wanted to use the majority of team brief for our guests. So as I said, we've got Ali and Amy with us today. So a lovely segue now over to our wonderful EDI lead, Ali Pearson. So Ali, it was Staff Networks Week last week. I had some personal involvement, and it was an absolute pleasure to be involved, but I know it ran all week, so I didn't know if you wanted to talk us a little bit about last week and how successful it was.
Thanks ever so much, Rob, and good morning or good afternoon, colleagues, and thank you for having me on Staff Brief once again. It's a real pleasure to be here and share the success story that was last week. So as many of you will know, we were putting posts on Facebook every day in the Team SFH Facebook page to keep colleagues up to date on what was happening. And it was Equality, Diversity and Human Rights Week last week, and that incorporated National Staff Networks Day, which was on Wednesday. And as part of the week, we decided fairly early on that we were going to focus the whole week on our staff networks and the benefit of them for colleagues and what we've achieved. But we also wanted to set out some future thinking about what we might be able to achieve as staff networks in the next 12 months. So every day last week, from Tuesday through Friday, we had a spotlight on particular staff networks. So on Tuesday, we spotlighted our carers staff network and women in Sherwood. On Wednesday, it was the turn of our ethnic minority staff network. Thursday saw LGBTQ+ in the spotlight, and on Friday it was our WAND network, which is supporting colleagues with disabilities and long-term conditions. And I just want to extend a huge thank you to everybody who gave some time from their working day, who are network members, to support the cover of the stands. It's not an easy thing to do, to make sure we had people present between 11 and 3, but we managed to do that, and huge thanks to colleagues who did that, and particular thanks to Simon Dove, who coordinated all of the information and made sure that that was all available, and set up the stands each day for colleagues to come and engage with us and talk to us about our staff networks. And as a result of that engagement with colleagues, what I can tell you is that we have successfully recruited 68 new staff network members across the 5 networks, which is absolutely extraordinary. And yeah, like I say, I'm so grateful to all colleagues who played their part in that successful update that we're able to provide you with this morning. It's really exciting for us, because the more staff network members that we have, the more active members we can have across the organisation who can support with the activity that we want to do to make Sherwood an even better place to be. And at the moment, I'm currently finalising my annual report for EDI, and what I can tell you is that last year we reported 104. We have increased, membership to 294 colleagues who are now members of staff networks, and that is an increase of 148 members in the last 12 months. So I just want to extend huge thanks to any colleagues who have joined a network, whether they identify with the community or have joined as an ally, but also thanks to our existing staff network members, without whom, you know, some of the work that we do, the activities, the awareness raising that we do, just simply would not be possible. And for Newark colleagues, again, I extend my apologies that we weren't able to be with you last week. However, on Wednesday next week, so that's the 24th of May, between 10 and 12, myself and Karen Hage will be doing a walkabout. So we will be coming to you guys to share with you the information on our staff networks. We will be looking to sign up some new members over at Newark to increase the membership across our Newark site, because we're conscious we want to make sure that voices of colleagues across Newark, Mansfield community and Kingsmill are heard in the work that we're doing. So please, if you would really like us to visit you, drop something in the chat now and we can make arrangements to visit you specifically, but we will try and get to as many departments as possible on Wednesday next week, and I'm really looking forward to coming and seeing colleagues over at Newark. So that was Equality, Diversity and Human Rights Week in a nutshell. 68 new members, absolutely fantastic news. But also I mentioned that it was Staff Networks Day on Wednesday last week, and as part of that and to celebrate that, we had an extraordinary staff network meeting. So never before in Sherwood have we brought members from all of our staff networks together, but that's exactly what we did on Wednesday afternoon last week. And as a group of colleagues representing different staff networks, we looked at some of the areas that we thought we might be able to take some action and support the organisation in the coming 12 months. And there were 2 key actions that came out of that meeting. One of those, and it's echoing really what Rob has just talked about in terms of the importance of your electronic staff record. we see that that is really important. In terms of our EDI agenda, we want to make sure that we have visibility on people from protected characteristic groups within the organisation, and knowing how many colleagues we have that identify with a particular group enables us to make sure that we have appropriate support in place for those colleagues. And we know that our ESR data in particular is not up to date and doesn't necessarily reflect the equality of our colleagues within Sherwood. And some examples of that are that we have our disabled colleagues within Sherwood. So we have increased the number of colleagues who we now see have declared a disability on ESR from just under 4% to 7%, which is incredible, and we're really proud of that achievement, and we're really grateful to colleagues for feeling safe in the organisation to declare their disability. But we know from our staff survey data that nearly a quarter of respondents declared a disability through the staff survey. So there's real disparity between what our staff survey is telling us and what our ESR data is telling us. And we want to reassure colleagues that when you update your personal information on ESR, so that includes your disability, your ethnic background, your religion or belief, that cannot be seen by your line manager. That information is not accessible by them. So we want people to be assured that there is that level of confidentiality when declaring that information, and those who do have access to it are governed, of course, by the data protection regulations and, of course, our own information governance policies and procedures. And likewise with our colleagues who identify as LGBTQ+, we currently have 2.5% of colleagues who identify through ESR, but almost 4% of colleagues are identifying through the staff survey. And this is really important. This information is really important to us, particularly when we look at what you guys are telling us in the organisation in our staff survey. So, for example, we have also agreed, as well as supporting colleagues to update their ESR data, and more to follow on that in the coming weeks and months as we explore how best we can support you as Staff Network colleagues to update your information, and also support our workforce information team, which is really small. So we want to make sure that we can help out as much as we can with that. We've also agreed to support the Trust's actions in trying to reduce the violence and aggression and bullying and harassment that colleagues are experiencing in their working lives, which we all know is distressing, and we really want to help and support the organisation to minimise the occurrences of that happening. So, for example, our ethnic minority colleagues are more likely to face bullying and discrimination than white colleagues. And we also know from staff survey that more than 1 in 3 colleagues who identify as LGBTQ+ will face physical assault from patients or service users in their time at work. So this is a really important action for our staff networks to support the organisation in its efforts to reduce those instances as much as we can. So some really exciting work that will take place in the coming 12 months, and that's in addition to all the other awareness raising that we do throughout the year. So next up is Carers Week in June. So if you are an unpaid carer, and we know that the statistics tell us that 1 in 3 NHS colleagues is likely to provide unpaid care outside of work, and that could be to an elderly relative or friend, or providing care for a child or children with additional needs. And we know that the balance between providing that care and working can be really tricky. So we have our Carers Network to support colleagues with that. So Carers Week is coming up in June. We've got our Pride celebrations throughout July. We have our Reach Out event in October, which is supported by our Ethnic Minority Staff Networks colleagues, and that event is brought to you in partnership with our BAME Governance Council as well, and that's happening in September, and it's a day dedicated to celebrating all the different race, ethnicity and cultural heritage within Sherwood, and we really look forward to inviting colleagues to that. And also we have Disability History Month, which takes place during November and December. So there's a lot of activities and awareness raising that we do across the year as well. And if this sounds like something that you'd like to get involved with, please don't hesitate to get in touch with myself or visit our intranet page. We have a new tile on the intranet which has literally just gone live. I'm so excited. So from the home page of the intranet, you can now access all the information regarding equality, diversity and inclusion, and specifically our staff networks information, where you can find our email addresses, what we've been up to, so local recent news, sorry. So we really look forward to welcoming you to those spaces. And of course, if you don't identify with the community that a particular network supports, we welcome allies into those spaces as well. So you can be there to support colleagues, to stand with colleagues and show your support. So, you know, please do get involved. There's a lot of people in the trust that are getting a lot out of their membership, and it would be even fantastic to be able to increase our numbers even beyond the 68 that we saw last week. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for the time, Rob, and being able to come into this space and engage with colleagues. As always, it's much appreciated.
Thanks, Ali. Some wonderful highlights there. Some things really to be proud about. New members on the week is clearly something to shout loud and proud about. So you must be incredibly proud around what some of the outputs of last week have started to drive. And I love the reference to some of those future spoilers. So some of the annual report stuff. I'm sure, Jess, we could get Ali booked in again just to talk through some of the highlights of that across the month of June. Variety of engagement sessions planned throughout the summer. Really looking forward to to some of the Pride celebrations that we've really driven with some focus over the past few years, and some further celebrations towards the end of the year. So exciting stuff, lots to look forward to.
Absolutely.
I see in the chat there's the dedicated link to the EDI page on the intranet, so I'd encourage our listeners today to perhaps peruse that at your leisure, and really welcome the staff networks on tour concept, which is clearly going to happen next week at Newark. I did wonder, you're going to call in at Mansfield Community Hospital at all if you're on tour?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's always difficult to cover the three sites. You know, our staff network members do have some dedicated time to take part in network activities, but as we all know, everybody is extremely busy. But certainly we will be looking to visit Mansfield Community over the next couple of weeks as well. So keep an eye out in the communications bulletin for the date for that, and we'd be delighted to welcome members from Mansfield Community as well onto our staff network. So thank you for the prompt there, Rob. We'll get something in the diary. And
remind me, Ali, I think you mentioned it, but clearly in one ear and out the other. If anyone wants a visit when you're on tour, are they to contact you directly, or is your generic email address?
Yeah, absolutely. Do contact me directly, particularly for Wednesday next week. So that's a shout out to Newark colleagues. If you want Karen and I to come and talk to you a bit about networks, or you want to sign up, please do contact me directly. And then if you would like a particular network to come and talk to your ward or department, if you've got people that have got interest in one or more of the networks, you can access the network email address through the intranet page, the dedicated intranet page. And again, I'm more than happy for people to contact me directly, and Jess has kindly popped my email into the chat. So if there is anyone that's interested, do please contact me, and we'll do our very best to get to see you.
Thanks, Alan. Just like magic, Jess. You know, it appeared in the chat there. So thanks for that. So brilliant, Ali. Keep up the good stuff. Lots of energy there. Lots of things to shout about, and lots of tangible outcomes from last week also. So thank you. Thank you for your leadership in that. So Amy, delighted to have you with us again. Certainly a familiar face in this forum, and lots to shout about. So on a similar footing, really, over to you. So, you know, we've got our wonderful health and wellbeing lead. So delighted for you to perhaps share some key snippets around some of the work that you're actively taking forward at the moment.
Thanks, Rob. And hello everybody, I'm Amy Gouldstone, the People Wellbeing Lead. I work quite closely with Ali actually on some of the staff networks. I actually chair one of them, so I've got staff networks to talk about included in my my talk today. But I'm here particularly because it is it's Mental Health Awareness Week. So across the country people are celebrating mental health, but also particularly raising awareness around anxiety, which is the theme of this week this time. So I've got a few slides to share with you so that I can remember what I want to tell you about. Also, as a bit of a heads up, I would say have your diary ready to edit, or a piece of paper to write dates down, because like Ali's given lots of dates and things like that. I've got some dates and times for the diary for photo opportunities, but also some stands and some to wellbeing walks as well. So hopefully I'm going to slot all that in just a few minutes talking to you. So I'll just share my slides. We have a wellbeing email address, which is our generic wellbeing email address that myself and my colleague Corinne Kitchen monitor. So feel free to ever use that if we've mentioned something and you want a bit more detail, or you need links or you struggle to find anything, please do use that one. So the first date, although I must admit I've got these slight in an order that I could have possibly reflected on, done slightly differently. So do have your diaries ready. So Thursday the 18th of May is Wear It Green Day. So as part of Mental Health Awareness Week, green is the colour. So if you can wear something green, even if you're not fully green, personally I probably won't be fully green because I haven't got anything fully green, but yeah, it could be if you can wear a t-shirt, it could be a hair bobble, a ribbon, anything, even your lanyards I know are green. And we're inviting colleagues to come and talk, have a photo taken. So I'll be at Newark at 9 AM on the 18th of May. Kingsmill is at 1:15. We're going to meet by the post box in the main entrance, and 2 o'clock at Mansfield Community Hospital. So we'll be darting straight over there after we've been to Kingsmill. But the reason for wearing green, I suppose, is to strike that conversation with someone. So especially if you're someone that doesn't wear green, you know, it's an opportunity to say, actually, did you know I'm wearing green because it's Mental Health Awareness Week, and particularly the theme this time is about supporting people to manage anxiety. And with that in mind, actually, the hashtag that we're encouraging people to use, and if you can post in the Facebook group, is #ToHelpMyAnxiety. I'd be really keen for people to share what they do to manage their anxiety. So we know 1 in 4 adults have been affected by anxiety to the point where it stopped them being able to do something they would normally do, whether that's social things or work. So it can have a really big impact. So I thought I'd share some of the things that I do. So some of the things that I do to help my anxiety is to write things down. So I have allotted worry time. Once an evening, I'll have 10 minutes where I will scribble down anything that's coming into my head that I just want to get out on paper. And this is something that's really helped me, and it's a tool in my toolbox that I've picked up and put down a few times in my life, but I found this really helps, and lots of other people do too. The other thing I do is I sing. So that is a picture not of me singing, but yeah, singing is something that really helps me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one in the organisation that sings for stress and sings for anxiety. The other thing that I do is play music as well. So I can play the keyboard, but I listen to music and all of that sort of thing. So again, just be really keen for people to share what they do to manage their anxiety. I'm sure there'll be an amazing amount of things that people could put in their toolbox that they can share with others that may also experience anxiety at times as well. Of course, there's our services as well. So we're often talking about our employee assistance programme because they're there 24/7 and they're not connected to the trust. So it's a completely confidential phone line that is there all the time for you to ring. They also provide our staff counselling. If you don't want to talk to someone on the phone as well, they have a fab website. They have workbooks, they have audio books, they have all sorts on there. And also our psychology teams have recorded a lot of webinars in the past as well, and they're always available on demand. All sorts of different topics on there for you to look at. We also, so we have our employee assistance programs there for everyone, obviously, in these workbooks. Then the next step would be staff counselling, if that's something that you would benefit from. And if you've had counselling before, or you've had counselling recently and it's perhaps not worked for you, or you maybe need a step further, we have a fabulous clinical psychology team as well. So if you need any information on those, you can email the wellbeing inbox, or you can email the clinical psychology inbox direct as well. So those are steps of mental wellbeing support, particularly in the organisation. Something we get asked a lot is, actually, it's my friends and my family that are struggling. And of course, VivUp is for our colleagues only, but for your friends and family, or anybody, in fact, there is our mental health crisis access line, which is a really good phone number to have. If you're ever worried about someone, and you think, actually, I just need to talk this out with someone, you could ring this line yourself. Obviously, people can ring it as an individual and they get support straight away. If they don't answer straight away, they usually ring back really quickly. So you sometimes do have to leave a voicemail, but that's on a confidential line. The other thing that's relatively new as well, you can text for support. So I know when I've been in a difficult place before, I'll be honest, I don't like picking up the phone. I really don't like picking up that phone, but you can text now. So if you text NOTS, so NOTTS, to 85258, you'll get text support as well. So that service is there for anyone in NOTS, but they're across the country. So it's a phone line called Shout, basically, that one. So and the other really good website that I can't not mention in Mental Health Awareness Week is the Not Alone website, which is absolutely fabulous for young people. So if you've got children that struggle with anxiety, worry about exam stress, or any other mental health problems as well, so whether it's eating disorders, self-harm, all sorts on there, it's a really, really good resource. So that's for help for your friends and family as well. And I can't not talk about mental health awareness without mentioning our One Network as well, that Ali's already mentioned. So our One Network is our disability network. Not all disabilities are visible. So if you struggle with anxiety, depression, or any other mental health problems, the One Network's a really good supportive network for you to kind of connect with other colleagues in a similar position. Similarly, if you want to be an ally for that, to support others, you'd be more than welcome to the network. And then as a network, we get to make a difference as well. So the reason it's called WAND stands for We Are Able and Disabled, because we genuinely believe that actually when we bring people together, and we bring people with difference together, we can make magic happen. So I actually chair the One Network, so just full disclosure there, but I'd be really, really keen to see any more colleagues on there. We had a load of sign up last week, as Ali mentioned, so I had the email addresses up on there, and I think Jess might be putting that in the chat as well. So hopefully see some of you there, the One Network. I did mention have your calendar handy for so many things, because here's some more dates and times. So my fabulous colleague Corinne Kitchen is leading some walks across May with some of our wellbeing champions, because it is also Walk This May, and we know that walking can really help with mental health, give that opportunity to talk. So here's some dates on the screen at the moment for Newark on the 22nd of May, Mansfield on the 24th of May, Kingsmill on the 25th, and the 31st. In fact, there's two different dates on there. And you'll possibly already know as well that our wellbeing champion Craig Short has been doing a step competition, so these walks will hopefully just help you build some more steps in for your division as well. So the link's there to post any steps that you do as part of these group walks that you do. Unfortunately, I won't be there because I will be in the sunny Lake District. I'm hopeful that it will be sunny, but I will be walking there and contributing to the step competition while I'm there too. But you'll see Corinne at some of these walks. These are photos from last year, if you can't tell, because obviously we had masks on last year when we did a big Walk This May campaign. So hope you grab those dates down. Some more dates, so slightly moving away from Mental Health Awareness Week, but something that we know really affects people's mental health, and is being a carer for someone. So being a carer for a relative, a friend, a neighbour, anybody. This might be something where you care for someone by you looking after their bills, or you take them to appointments, or you take them food shopping, or you do their hoovering, because they can't necessarily do it. But we know lots of colleagues care for individuals. We also know lots of colleagues care for individuals with dementia, and it is Dementia Action Week this week as well. So there are some stands at Kingsmill tomorrow morning and Thursday morning, and then on Friday, Friday the 18th of May, sorry, I've got 18th of May, that should say 19th of May, I do apologise. Friday this week they're at Mansfield and Newark as well, so our dementia specialist teams are working together on there. So just to let you know about those. Also, again, just another plug for one of our staff networks. We have our carers staff network, which is a really fabulous supportive group of individuals that meet once a month, and again also have supported colleagues to make a difference for other carers in the organisation and supported each other with what they need to make work that bit easier when you're a carer outside of work too. So I think I'm there. That is everything on my slide. Sorry, I'll stop sharing there, but thank you so much for listening. I hope this has given you lots of dates and times for your diaries, whether it's a photo, a walk, a dementia stand, email addresses for staff networks, and I hope to see some of you there. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Amy. Loads of energy there. So absolutely delighted to hear about some really positive messages. Lots going on, lots of dates, lots of information, and no doubt, Jess, we can make sure all of that is weaved into this week's staff bulletin that goes out on Thursday. And I guess the message, which is a very loud and clear message, is we're wanting to showcase how you can get support, especially for those difficult times. I think we can all talk about adversity. I think we can all talk about difficult days we have, and being able to talk about it. I know from my own personal experience, often is the difference. And Amy, you shared some really powerful little workarounds, I guess, that you have, that you've packed into your normal working day just to alleviate some of those anxieties. I'm a big believer in fresh air, especially if you've had a tough day, whether it's going out for a walk or whether it's going for a run. More recently, I've took up cycling, so I get out on my bike after perhaps a challenging day, and you know, we all have our own work throughs, don't we? I think talking about it is the point you're getting across. So thank you. So that kind of concludes today's team brief. I've kept an eye on the chat, and we've not got anything to note. There's lots of information, and Jess, I'm sure you and the team can craft some of that, so our people that have not had chance to listen to today's team brief can pick some of those messages up on Thursday. And it'd be remiss of me not to thank the two of you for your leadership around those agendas that you share so passionately, and continue that energy, continue that spirit. As you often know, these are the right things to do. And tackling some of those tricky topics can only be a good thing in my eyes. So thank you for your perseverance and your leadership regarding those agendas. So that's it. Same place, same time next week. I think we've got Paul back in the hot seat. He'll be back from Croatia then. I'm sure he'll do a better job than me. But it's been delighted to fill the seat this week. All the very best. Bye-bye.